All right, yo, what's up, everybody? Baseball After Dark. Let's do it. Let's do this thing tonight. Got a lot going on. Hope you guys are all good. Hope getting prepared for this long weekend. No school Thursday or Friday. No school tomorrow. No school Sunday. No school Monday. So had to kind of switch it up. Do a little Baseball After Dark today. So let me just go grab a hat because I don't like the way this. You know what? Whatever. It's fine. Who cares? Anyway, how you guys doing? Am I the only streamer who starts on time? I try to be exact. Try to do as good as I can. Anyway, good evening, everybody. Hope you guys are all good. I saw here spring training games start a week from tomorrow, so that is exciting. My Huskies of Northeastern will be playing the Red Sox. That will be the first game for the Red Sox. I'll be locked into that. Good evening, all. We may need baseball and beer hats for these night pods. Have you prepared for Valentine's Day? Yes, we are ready. Valentine's Day, very important in this house. A lot of girls in this house. So I've done my job, and I think we're in the clear. So feeling good about that. Let's go. So much baseball, so much news, so much excitement. Maya's going to hit a 500-foot bomb off AO, and life is always better when baseball is around the corner. Yes, Huskies are playing GCU right now. All right, so I don't think it's going well, though. Mitch wrote me. He said not looking good for the Huskies. I think that our Friday night guy, first start of the year, had a rough go. I think there was a couple hit pitches, hip-hop pitches, some other stuff. So let's see what we got. Scoreboards. Wow. Number 21, Wake, loses their home opener to Houston. Oh, they're playing in Ponce, Puerto Rico. That's awesome. Yeah, so we are kind of back, baseball fans. College baseball's here, and it's very exciting. All right, let's see what else we got. Michigan beat number 8 Louisville. LSU crushed Milwaukee. They're number 2 in the nation. LSU is. Number 15, Georgia over Wright State. Number 11, North Carolina opens up over Indiana. Kentucky over UNC Greensboro. Clemson 3-2 over Army. Oregon State loses to Michigan. Georgia Tech over Bowling Green. Coastal over Fairfield. Tennessee in the first game beyond Tony Vitello. They go and win 10-0. TCU and Vanderbilt. That's a nice matchup opening weekend here in Arlington. TCU 5, Vanderbilt 4. And yeah, you can see the rest of these scores. So let me go ahead and find my guys. Where are my guys? Playing against Grand Canyon. Hold on here. Big Ten, Big West, Conference USA, CAA. Here we go. Northeastern. Give me some live stats. Oh my God, we already have a question about Mark Hanna, the top banana. Great guy, great human, good family guy. Just a great guy. Quirky guy. Gets hit by a lot of pitches, got hit by a lot of pitches. Used to have the long sideburns with the A's. Big fan of Mark and his family. Just obviously knows all the food, big league foodie. If you follow him on Instagram and on social media, loves his food, knows what he's talking about. So yeah, here we go. Grand Canyon up 5-0 on my Huskies here. Bottom third. Plenty of time though, plenty of time. The Huskies don't go away easily. They didn't fly all the way to goddamn Arizona to get embarrassed first game of the year. So anyway, we'll get into some Major League stuff because that's mostly what we're about. And then we'll circle back to college if we need to. College baseball is live tonight. It's crazy because I went to go throw earlier today at a facility and there was baseball on TV and it was live. I was like, man, this is crazy. This is crazy. What's up, Omar? Appreciate you hanging out. What's up, Jeffrey? Thanks for hanging out. Game production's also really bad. Pathogen identification. Jacob Wilson is in the booth, but his mic wasn't working for about 8 minutes in this game. Well, yeah, that makes sense. Jacob Wilson of Grand Canyon University. Was seeing about Cam Johnson, lefty demon from Oklahoma, was dealing. Who'd Oklahoma play today? Oklahoma. When the wind comes sweeping down the plain. Yeah, and also, yes, I did see this. This popped up on my Reddit in this Baylor game. Mitch just texted me, so that's why I just said, oh, yes. This guy hit 3 grand slams in one game today for Baylor. I don't know if you guys saw that. It's crazy. Three slams in one game. I don't know what to make of that. All right, so wait, we're looking for Oklahoma. So that would be like what, Big 12? Is Big 12 still a thing? Yeah, 10-3 box score. Wow, what are these college box scores? Cam Johnson, 6 innings. So they went opener and then Cameron Johnson? Not the basketball player. 6 innings, 3 hits, 1 run not earned, 3 walks, 11 punchalos. Throwing cheese. The Red Sox have Durbin and Contreras, who won in the top 3 hit by pitch in the major leagues. Guess that's one way to get on base. It's an art form, folks. It's an art form. I've exposed it on the stream before, and when the games start, I'll expose it again. I'm looking at you, Andres Jimenez, Tim LaCastro. You know who you guys are. You look like you're trying to get out of the way, but you're not really trying to get out of the way. So, anyway, it's an art form. All right. Anyway, enough of this. Enough of this for now. There is the Baylor game. Let me find the Baylor score. Here's the box score, just so you guys can see it real quick, and we can give this guy some love. Baylor. Yeah, here it is. Tice Armstrong. Just your ho-hum 3 for 4, 12 RBI game. 3 for 4, 12 RBI game. You know, I did ask him about the show. I'm surprised he didn't immediately say yes. He was apprehensive a little bit. I think he might come on. He did ask me then to invest in a chip brand, which I may or may not do. Vaca chips. They're kind of the answer to Masa is the other brand in the space. It's like beef tallow chips. Marcan is involved in that. Anyway, hopefully we will get him on here. The John Smoltz School of Hit by Pitch. Andres Jimenez, don't get RoboCop started. Ooh, D-backs closing in on a deal with Gallen. All right, but anyway, Tice Armstrong, just so you guys know, 3 for 4, 12 RBIs, 3 grand slams. I mean, that's some stupid stuff. It's even more crazy than the Tatis Sr. thing, except that those both happened in the one game. There was a game back in the day, Marshall McDougal, 6 for 6. I believe either 6 for 6, 4 home runs, or 8 for 8, 6 home runs, something crazy like that back in the day, Florida State. Anyway, you see some shit in college baseball. All right, let's move it on. Let me just hit that trade rumors real quick to see if this is Zac Gallen nearing a deal. All right, well, we don't know what he's getting. This seemed like it had to happen. Because of the qualifying offer. You heard Boris talk about it on Foul Territory the other day. You know, they just have they have a heavy weight around their neck with that qualifying offer. Plus, it wasn't coming off of his best deal. Teams were reluctant to go long on him. I actually think if I were in the catbird seat with somebody, I probably would have offered him the 3 or 4 year deal. I'm a big believer in Gallen. I think he's going to bounce back. You know, the amount of base runners he ran last year was eerily similar to what he always runs. It was fine. Like, it wasn't anything crazy. Let me delete some stuff here. So yeah, I mean, look, thank gosh that they're getting him back. Good for the Diamondbacks, kind of being in a prime spot to take advantage of that QO. But now the QO's gone forever. Diamondbacks get him back. I mean, it's just like he's a good pitcher, you know, 1.26 whip this year and last year. Obviously, there's a disparity in how many runs he allowed. But I think he's a similar pitcher who had a bad run for a little while, and I think he's smart enough to make the adjustments, durable enough to contribute value, even if he is league average, which I have a feeling he'll be better than league average. He's got good pitches too. So I'm happy for the Diamondbacks because now, I mean, they had to. Like, they decided to go. They gotten some early disappointing news with Corbin Carroll being out early. But, I mean, they have a nice little team. They have the big three at the top, Perdomo, Marte, Carroll. They have some young guys. They brought in some old guys, Nolan and Santana. Um, and then, they were starting to piece their rotation kind of back to where it was. Merrill Kelly comes on back. Ryan Nelson was sneaky pretty damn good last year. That fastball really played. Erod, they need more out of him. Soroka was like a back of the rotation pickup, and now they'll have more depth. They'll have depth to use. I always thought Fott could be a good reliever. Not that I want to slap that on him, but they did that. And they're kind of just bottom feeding, but they're doing a bottom feeding job with people they're familiar with. Paul Sewald just came back to them, and now Gallen's back. And really, Gallen is immediately the ace again, so nothing's really changed here. Just kind of sucks for him that his first bite at the apple didn't go the way he wanted, but I'm pretty sure this will work out for him. I wonder what the number is. I bet it's right around, well, I bet it's north of 20 million, but let's see exactly where it lands. Stuff declined eye test-wise, especially the changeup. Could be wrong. I don't think you're wrong like that. It's not as electric as it was maybe 2 years ago, but it's not. I don't think it's that far off. So interestingly, on Stuff Plus, on Eno's model here, he has him as being below average for the last 3 years and really having the same kind of stuff, overall Stuff Plus, from 24 to 25. Now, what's interesting to me is that I've always really liked his curveball. I wonder what's changed characteristically on this knuckle curve, because I felt like that was maybe his most potent pitch for a little while. But yeah, these grades, it's the funny thing about Stuff Plus grades, you look at them and it's hard not to be influenced by them. You see them and you're just like, I know what that means. I know what you're telling me. But I don't know. I still think he's a really good pitcher. I guess he's going to have to go out and prove it again this year. But there is no denying that, at least in this model, it does look like he's dropped off quite a bit. Changeup wise, I mean, they never really liked it. It's a carry changeup. It's a command situation. I mean, he's always had excellent command. Even last year, 105 location plus. Get the stuff back up a little bit would be helpful. But I've always liked his combination of curveball and changeup. I always felt like those were his best two pitches. Could he benefit from a kick change? So let's go find out. Let's go take a look at the movement profile on Zac from last year. Here's the changeup, 4.1 inches of rise, 12.3 inches of tail, off of a four seam with a little bit of perceived cut, 17.2 inches of vert. So yeah, I mean, there's a 13-inch separation. He doesn't have a separation issue, but of course, if you went to a kick, he could probably create more drop. Let me see what the current spin is on this changeup right now. It's right here, 15, 18. So it's pretty low, actually. It's not as carry as I thought. I mean, I know he's thrown some in the past, little cut carry balls, but it's intriguing to look at. How has that changed over the last few years? So 86.3 that year, 86.6 here. Definitely lost a lot of whiff rate there. Go away, whatever you're doing here. I don't want you. Let me look at the whiff rate. So knuckle curve 39.2, similar this year. Changeup 30.2. Last year, actually more whiff than last season. Interesting. Let's go look at his run values. Maybe there's something more specific. Yeah, see, the curveball to me, even though Stuff Plus didn't even like it last year, I've always really liked Gallen's curveball. He spikes it. He throws it kind of hard. It's got a lot of drop. It doesn't move a lot left, which I like too, especially for opposite-handed hitters, as that straight down plummeting effect. Always been a fan of that. Let's see if we can just cherry pick a curveball. So you got me intrigued here with this question earlier about his stuff maybe downgrading, because I never really thought too hard about how his stuff graded out in the first place. I mean, I always knew he wasn't going to be like a super Stuff Plus darling, but I always felt like it wasn't bad either. Like pretty droppy curveball, really good command, really good changeup. I mean, I've seen his stuff be pretty overwhelming against teams I've faced. I remember we faced him with the Mets, I want to say 2 years ago, fairly early in the year, maybe 3 years ago, fairly early in the year. And his curveball was dynamic. We weren't anywhere near it. So maybe I'm a little biased off of one game, small sample size, but I've seen him pitch quite a bit. And they better hope that his stuff isn't like completely falling off a cliff. I do think that would be a little bit scary if that were the case. Makes me want to look up something else real quick. So just bear with me here for a second. app.starkyardbaseball.com. All right, I'm gonna try to show you guys something. Ooh, Stockyard Baseball. All right, so Robert Stock built this. Current player, plays with the Mets. He made his own Stuff Plus leaderboard, and he's got a lot of really cool stuff on here. But yeah, I want to go look at Zac Gallen if I can. What he has on Zac Gallen here. So he's got his Stuff Plus at 99, location 101. I don't know what cascade means. He's got predicts run prevention by modeling the cascade of pitch outcomes, swing decision, contact type, contact quality, combines 19 hierarchical models across 4 levels. As you can tell, Robert Stock is quite smart. Best fit predictor among stockyard grades, pitcher level only, no per pitch type breakdown, 100 league average. Okay, so small amount of decline being predicted. Pitch arsenal, expected run value. So it likes his four seam, slider, and cutter. Doesn't like his curveball or changeup or sinker. Four degrees higher than average. I mean, we're going to be using this site quite a bit. He's done a nice job. Pitching plus by pitch type. So it has he likes his curveball and his pitching plus. I guess that's probably a combination of execution and also movement profile, four seam and changeup. See, to me, those are the most effective pitches he has. Seems like it's elite command of those pitches more so than maybe elite shapes. But all right, interesting to see what he had. I find that fascinating. Let's go to his heat maps. I just want to show you guys this is really fun, like what he built. He did a nice job. So here's like his locations. This is usage. Let's go to whiff percentage. So versus lefties, he's getting most of his whiff above the zone. On the fastball, on the curveball, everything's below, obviously. Changeup, man, really good below the zone. Slider off the plate away, almost nothing with slider versus lefties. Cutter's not really a whiff pitch. Sinker only uses versus righties. I don't know. This is very fascinating. But I like looking at he's even got by months. I mean, dude, this is a hell of a site. And he's just getting started. I was talking to him on the phone the other day trying to get a little info. So very cool. Let's see Stockyard Stuff Plus leaders in the big leagues right now. Devin Williams, Mason Miller, Josh Hader, Tarek Skubal, Aroldis Chapman, Trevor McGill, Christopher Sanchez, Mizorowski, Green, and Duran making out the top 10. All right, cool. All right, anyway, back to my thoughts on Gallen. Again, I think it's a solid move. They probably got him for a good price. I don't know if that's been reported yet. Yep, 1-year deal, pending a physical. Okay, we'll see what the money is, whatever. But they kind of needed to do this. I mean, the rotation was light, to say the least, especially, considering that the Padres are going, the Giants are kind of going, even the Rockies, but obviously they're not really a factor. But there's, these wild card spots are going to be tough to grab. I think the National League is fairly deep this year. I really do. So they needed this. Gallen will slot in there above Merrill Kelly. And then hopefully some of these guys pitch well for them. I mean, Erod's been tough since he's been over there. But let's see. I do also wonder this as well, Daniel. I wonder if the deal is more or less than the QO. Talked about this the other day, ECU. I don't like Sugano's chances very well at Coors Field. I mean, Obviously, the walk rate's great. That's going to be a huge deal if he can keep that low. But like the amount of contact that he allows, the lack of whiff, and overall strikeout that he gets means a lot of balls are going to be in play, and that's even off the evidence we have at sea level, let alone pitching at Coors. So I'm not very optimistic about Sugano's chances, but we'll see. He does have good command. Quintana, it's more of the same, except I've seen Quintana thrive with the nibble command game, so there's a chance that could play, but I still think it's going to be tough. This is going to be a major, major challenge for both of them. And they could, if they stay mentally tough, and I know Q will, they could go and win a lot of games. They could outpitch the other guy, but it's going to be tough if you care about your stats, you know. Baylor's Tice Armstrong was the guy. I think I dropped his name earlier. 3 grand slams in a game in the first in 50 years. Crazy. Were the command guys against stuff models in the clubhouse simply because the models didn't like them as much? Yeah, probably. Probably. I would say in general, you're gonna, everybody's self-interest driven, right? If you are the Statcast darling, then you're probably gonna like that. So if you're not, you're probably not gonna like that. 22 million for Gallen. Okay. Thanks, guys. Appreciate this. That's exactly what we expected. It's honestly, look, 22 million is a lot of money. It's more than double than any money I ever made in a year, and it's a ton of bread. But man, I thought Gallen was going to get 100 million, and even on the 1 year, the fact that he couldn't push it a little bit higher up is kind of sketchy. So he's going to have to reprove it. It does show that the consensus around the league was that they didn't want to stretch for him. You saw some other QO guys get stretched for Framber, and I mean, even though it's 3 years, is huge money and some other things, but they didn't go there with Gallen. So that's interesting. Oh, my girls are missing me at movie night. Zootopia 2, right behind me in that room. Got started a little late, so had to come in here. And I'm sorry you ate too many Raisinets and popcorn. All right. Trying to get my count here. It's being weird. What do we got here? 43? Okay. All right. All right. You want to take a quick I mean, it seems pretty public. I just typed it into my browser. I don't think he's advertising it, but All right. Did we talk about this yet? We'll talk about this real quick. Castellanos, officially released by the Phillies. We all knew that was kind of coming. There was this whole thing where he handwrote a letter detailing whatever happened when he got benched. People don't realize, but he did have like quite a long games played streak. I think he had played over 400 or so games consecutively. And yeah, he declined quite a bit. He was struggling in the outfield. I feel like he's one of those personalities that's like awesome when he's playing great, and it could be less than that when he's not playing great. But that's like a lot of guys, so I don't really have a problem with that. The beer thing in the dugout is certainly interesting. I mean, I know of plenty of players who have had beers in the dugout. Usually, they don't crack one right next to the manager in the midst of a game. So I think obviously, that wasn't great. I mean, here's the quote. After being taken out of a close ball game in front of my friends and family, I brought a Presidente into the dugout. I then sat right next to Rob and let him know that too much slack in some areas and too tight of restrictions in others was not conducive to us winning. Kind of an odd time to give him a philosophical managerial pep talk there. But listen, there was a lot more to this than they're telling us. I know they had it out after that. Maybe this was the straw that broke the back. Maybe it was just like one of those things where it was just wearing on the clubhouse. Who knows? But what I'm more curious is if Nick's going to keep going, where he's going to play. He's got no defensive value. His hitting really hasn't been great as of late. Having faced him a lot, he's got a great bat path. It's a natural swing. He swings a lot. It's always kind of worked for him. But if you're going to swing at everything, with the stuff of today's pitchers, they're probably going to expose you pretty hard. I mean, last year, negative WAR, only hit for a 294 on base percentage. So, now he's going to make $20 million this year. Kind of do whatever he wants. But I don't know. I mean, at one point, he was definitely raking. You look through this whole stretch of time, OPS pluses, I mean, really, really good with his big year coming in 2019, I believe. Maybe 2021, 138 OPS plus, the last year with Cincy before getting paid. I still feel like he's a natural hitter and he can hit in there, but there's no doubt that the last couple years have been a little less than inspiring, especially given his defense. So we'll see if he bounces back, who grabs him. We'll see who grabs him. Canadian baseball thinks some team will take a chance on Nick. I don't think this guy's on the Mets radar. MJ Melendez is more that type of guy who just got signed by the Mets. So, I see some people wanted the URL. What was it? It was, I have it here somewhere. app.stockyardbaseball.com. So enjoy that. Support Stock, Robert Stock, aka the Stockyard. If you're a Met fan, maybe you'll see him this year. All right, so that's really all I got on the Castellanos situation. They move on. The Phillies move on. Adolis Garcia plays right field now. We'll see if that's for the betterment of the team or not. But they're a team that's known to have really good vibes on this team. The combination of Schwarber running the show, Trey, Stott. I know Stott and Harper are really close. JT's a great dude. Marsh is a good guy. Apparently the vibes are very high, so they didn't want to let that get in the way. But it looks like Justin Crawford's got the inside track on center field. Obviously, Johan Rojas still in the picture. Otto Kemp. But Adolis Garcia in the fold. So Nick screams Angels. I feel like, a lot of people scream Angels when they don't scream anything else. So that could be the case. All right, so on the thumb, yeah, they sure did, Spectre. On the thumb, I put out there, Bassitt flies south. So Chris Bassitt, friend of the program, friend of mine, ends up joining the Orioles on a one-year deal. He gets like $18.5 million. I felt like the Orioles needed another pitcher. And they get a guy who's almost virtually guaranteed to make his starts, which is awesome. Which is friggin' awesome. Now this is the 6 pitchers they have. Trevor Rogers, who had a magical last 14-ish starts last year. Kyle Bradish, who should be the ace. He's the stuff guy of this crew. Chris Bassitt, the reliable guy. He's been in this division, knows how to pitch. Going to pitch a lot of innings. Going to take pressure off everybody else. Shane Baz, that's the reclamation. They traded for him. He's got the talent. Eflin, they brought him back to be kind of the stabilizer. So they have 2 of those types of guys, although Eflin's had some injuries of late. And then Kramer's another guy who's probably more of a stabilizer type as well. But they have options at least, and they did some things in the pitching to go along with their absolutely awesome offense. I know that Jackson Holliday's hurt right now, but this offense is going to be really, really good. And Bassitt does get to reunite with Mr. Pete Alonso, so they'll have a lot of fun together in the card game, on the plane, on the mic, on the bus, in the clubhouse, competing, maybe ping pong, things like that. So they'll have a jolly old time, and hopefully they'll be winning. Because if the Orioles are good. Wow, wrong pipe. Because if the Orioles are good, this AL East is going to be friggin' awesome. And it's already going to be awesome, but Yanks, Jays, Sox, Rays, Orioles could all be pretty good. I love that. How hurt is Westberg, Omar? Well, we got a little more stuff in the chat about the Castellanos thing. Why would anybody want that type of presence in the clubhouse when he stinks? Not saying he's a bad dude, but clearly self-centered, and when not good, probably rubs people the wrong way. Yeah, you put up with any type of personality if they're, putting up an 850 OPS or 900 OPS. Like, that's just reality. And then we would always say that the act or whatever, everybody's got an act to some extent, but the act does become tired. Especially with certain guys when they struggle. They don't know how to continue to be the same guy. So I don't know if that's the case or not. And I did not see Kyle Schwarber quote. I would love to know what that was, because I think Schwarb's is one of the best guys. All right, back to the Bassitt thing. We got some Canadian fans going to suck having to root for Bassitt's failure. I was really hoping Seabass would be back in Toronto. Elias hates pitching. Well, I think he learned his lesson from last year, huh? They felt like they were the leaders in the clubhouse heading in, and now they are certainly not. So they had to do something with this pitching. The windows close a lot quicker than some of these teams realize. We're going to get to this trade in a minute. There's a little bit of misunderstanding about how this works. He's making $20 million this year, whether he plays or not. If he decides to play, the team that takes him will just be responsible for the league minimum portion of that $20 million. So he's playing for $20 million, or he's sitting at home for $20 million. The problem with sitting at home, and something that I've learned this year as I've been trying to get ready for the WBC, is you sit at home for too long, and it's like if you don't use it, you lose it. So you should probably keep playing baseball if you're a baseball player and you want to keep playing baseball. Seems logical to me. Kyle was trying very hard not to say the wrong thing, and I think that's pretty good. That's pretty good. Oblique for Westberg. That's not great. No timetable. So he's still listed in here at third base. So I guess next man up, Jeremiah Jackson or somebody. Blaze Alexander move over. I don't know. Something. It's crazy, all these injuries that happen right at the beginning of camp. But I guess if they are going to happen, I guess early's better, but like you never want to see an oblique. You never want to see an oblique. Think about how many times you rotate really, really hard in the game. And if you have a weak link in your chain, in your core, not great. Media asked if Nick was a distraction. Kyle gave kind of a non-answer. Sometimes a non-answer is what you got to do. You know, sometimes that's what you got to do. Hoping the Orioles are out of it at the deadline and the Blue Jays get him back. I mean, you can wish for that. It's cool that the Blue Jays fans love Bassitt so much. I love Bassitt so much, so I think that's pretty cool. Oh my God, his money's deferred too? Man, Zac Gallen got really punked by the league this year. Now, if I were him, I wouldn't sulk about it. I would say, okay, the old adage, if you don't like it, play better. And that's what you can do about it, and he will. But from a distance, like I'm not him, I can say, man, he's so much better than that contract, and that sucks. I don't think this is happening, Ketamine Jesus. Does Bieber's setback help the chances of Scherzer returning to the Jays? I don't think this is happening. I have a hunch that Scherzer's going to end up on the Giants because him and Tony Vitello are tight. But he also could just be looking for the right pocket. I'd be surprised if it was the Blue Jays unless they lost some more starting pitching. But we'll see. Giolito's next. He does need to find a home. Good question. Well, for me, it's been physical. It's like all those years of throwing, the use it or lose it, all those years of throwing and getting your shoulder in this like perfect groove and just maintaining that year after year, which is something that was like part of my strategy and why I was so durable in the back half of my career. But then like you stop throwing and things try to heal and it just like, it's nothing's smooth anymore. Nothing's grooved anymore. And it takes a long time to get it right. The mental side of it, I mean, fight or flight goes a long way. You know, once you're in a baseball game where there's stakes, you know, those feelings come right back and you can be locked in as anybody. So you have to always believe, and let me just say this for young pitchers that might be watching or young baseball players. One of the mentalities that I would share with my teammates that I thought, it's kind of a weird way to think about it, but you have to get to a place in your career where, and it's not a cocky thing, but it's like, I am fully prepared. I do everything I can to prepare. I take care of myself. I'm all in. I get my sleep. You know, I know about my opponent. I study myself. I eat right. I do all the right things. All that being said, you also have to get to the point where your confidence in yourself is so ironclad that you feel like you could literally roll out of bed and face the best players in the world. You know, you just have to feel like you can just get in there and do it because you've done it your whole life and that's who you are now. So if you can't get to that point, sometimes it's hard to really eventually reach your destiny as a player. And also it makes you a scared player. So you over practice because you think you always have to be proving to yourself that you're good. And that buries your chances of staying healthy deeper. So I know this is kind of a weird dynamic here, but I truly believe it. One of the best ways to stay healthy is just to trust your damn self so that you can manage your workload properly and not freak out every time you play bad and try to over practice it. So anyway, Just wanted to throw that out there. Pitchers are like boxers. You got to fight or it's not good. Totally agree. Totally agree. Oh, yeah, Colby Mayo. Colby Mayo. A couple people in the chat confirming that they love Bassitt. Yep. Yep. Got some great ones in here. And I really appreciate all my Canadian subs. You guys have really carried this channel. So big time appreciate that as we're getting close to games and hopefully we can grow this. But, off the strength of last year's Blue Jays season, it's been a lot of fun. Okay. Garrett Cole might throw in spring training. Inside knowledge. Well, he looked pretty damn good in his his bullpen session today that I saw. I know he's feeling good. I know no matter what, they're going to make sure that they hit every mark, dot every I, cross every T before he's pitching in a major league wago that matters. But so far so good. There hasn't been any setbacks. So, let the horse run. And hopefully, and I think he's smart enough to monitor himself because really, like, nobody knows how you're really feeling except for you. And I did perhaps. I mean, when I came back from my Tommy John in 2016. I was good enough to pitch, but I wasn't recovering like normal, and nobody really knew that. So you don't want to be in that spot. Luckily, there was only a little bit of season left, so I was able to manage it. But you don't want to be in that spot when you're trying to go out there and run down a World Series. We weren't really doing that at the time. Seabass and the wife are a class act. They absolutely are. Donations. Scherzer doesn't strike me as a guy who will play for a team with no chance. That's how I feel. I think he's going to wait for the right spot with the right team. I do think the Giants are an outside shot to happen relatively soon again because he's so close with Tony. How hard was it when I came back with the Yankees this year? Well, I had been pitching. Remember, I was in spring training that whole time with the Red Sox, so I had been pitching, so my arm was fine. Physically, I was great. What was hard was knowing that I was going to get DFA'd after 3 days, no matter what I did, and just like kind of knowing that this was kind of ending, like just kind of coping with that for that week or whatever. Being in the shower, thinking about it, like is this the last time I'm walking out of the clubhouse? All that type of stuff. That was the hard part, but physically I was good to go. All right, let me skip ahead here. Yeah, so Roman did I mean, the USA thing is so intoxicating, and he is healthy. I think he had to prove that he was healthy. Ultimately, it's a great opportunity. You're the young guy on this squad. Like, you hear about it in basketball a lot. Like, there's that young guy who's kind of honorary on the team, but he gets to be around LeBron and Durant and all these people and learn shit. It's the same thing here. Like, he's going to be with Harper and Judge and Schwarber, and on the list goes on. Like, just incredible ball players, and he's just going to be around them, and that's what you want. That's what you want. Yeah, so I saw this on Reddit. There's no way he's changing his windup. He does go over the head sometimes for fun, and I think it's for timing. Like, he wants to get used to his balance point. People are like, "Oh my God, Garrett changed his delivery." He did not. He definitely did not. There's no way. I'll bet on that. How does Bieber overcome his arm fatigue? It just takes time. It just takes time. You get a little better. You get a little further away from it. You get a little better, but I don't know what he does on the day-to-day. So, that's a big factor. Heyman and Feinstein said Gallen had multi-year offers. Have to imagine it was like 2 of under 30. Yeah, and ultimately, why not stay with a place that you're comfortable, you can bounce back with. You don't have to move, you don't have to change your life, and now you're QO-less after this season. So I think he made the right choice without having any idea what his other offers were. As a guy that played old, did you have to labor in your late 30s, or was it more recovery? I always felt good on the mound. I don't think that was really an issue unless I was like kind of half hurt, which happened at times throughout the years with weird things. But for the most part, I felt really good out there. Even like when I was older, I just felt like I couldn't move as fast. It just wasn't as explosive. I was plenty strong, just couldn't move as quick. So it's tough. But I was so good at recovering though. I really had this thing dialed in from the relief pitcher perspective, like I knew what to do. So I was able to like feel good, but um, you know, it was just like just figuring it out. Like having Tommy John was a big moment because it was like, okay, well, what can I do differently this next time to, still pitch a ton of games and be valuable and be that guy, but not get hurt again. And that's where the confidence things come in. I would throw like I threw with a lot more intensity than other guys during catch play, but I threw less often. I took more days off. I monitored myself. I was on a high-low model that I kind of monitored myself, and I feel like that was the ultimate unlock to pitching a lot. But it's hard. It's easier said than done. A lot of people can't get it mentally together to do that. Okay, I'm just gonna skip ahead. Oh, here we go. How long in your career did it take for you to get to that mentality you just spoke about? Long time. Long time. I mean, I struggled with the mental side of the game for a really long time when I was younger. It started getting better. I think started mastering some aspects of it in 2012, 2013. And mind you, I was drafted in 06, 2014, 2015. But then I kind of fell apart again. And then I remastered it again in 18. And then I felt like I was really mentally strong from that point forward. And my routine was super dialed, but I also think actually I became a little more mentally weak at the very end because my stuff wasn't there anymore. And so it was just harder. You didn't feel as dangerous out there, so it's hard to fake it. Like I was always a realist with myself, so it was a little tough. Like I felt like I was effective, but I didn't feel nasty, if that makes sense. All right, let's move on to some other baseball stuff because I'm just chatting about my life or whatever, which is not important right now. All right. Just checking on you guys. We got 62 of you mofos in here, which I love. All right. What else happened? I had a whole list of things. So we like the Bassitt thing. They kind of had to do that. Oh, let's talk about this trade. All right. Astros Blue Jays swap Jesus Sanchez for Joey Loperfido. So it's funny because Joey Loperfido was traded from the Astros to the Blue Jays, and now they get him back. So I will say this about Jesus Sanchez. Jesus Sanchez is a guy that the analysts that look at process stats, like the stuff under the hood, like exit velocity and some of the things that he brings to the table, are very tantalized by him. I mean, he's got ability to hit the shit out of the ball. But he just has a bad approach most of the time. He's very pitchable. And it hasn't really come to fruition. These are his statistics since he's been in the big leagues, and he got there pretty young with the Fish. Been basically a one-WAR player every year. Hits some home runs, but not enough. Strikes out probably too much, and overall the on-base percentage isn't really very inspiring. So he's only 27. It reminds me a lot of a Franchy Cordero, who he's better than Franchy Cordero. He's more consistent than him, but it's like there's some tantalizing under the hood, like physical characteristics with this dude. This guy's a friggin' monster. 6'4", 222. And as I mentioned, he's hit some absolute moon nukes over the years. Here's what his percentile rankings were from this past year. So he's right at league average in xWOBA, but unfortunately he needs to be a little better than that. He's below league average in whiff, Ks. He's right at league average in walks. But here's the thing. Look at that bat speed. 93rd percentile. Hits the ball really hard. He just doesn't combine it with launch angle sweet spot very often. That's only 10th percentile. So he does a lot of things well, but he just doesn't connect the right way. It's like almost a hand-eye coordination or a skill type of thing, or they just haven't figured out how to give him the proper bat path yet. Let's see this one that's way back here. I think this is going to be, let's just watch some nukes that this guy's hit. So one time I did have a little bit of a beef with Jesus Sanchez, not like a real personal beef, but he did like a thing where he took a pitch and kind of like glared at me and like grabbed his cup and like thought he was Juan Soto. And he did it like a couple pitches in a row, and it kind of felt, I was in compete mode, so I was kind of like, we're not going to tolerate that too much. And so then I struck him out, and I think I waved him off the field. And then my buddy John Jay, who was a coach with the Marlins, was like, "What was that?" And I was like, I said, "Go look at the video." And then he looked at the video and he just said like, "Oh yeah, okay, I see what happened." But you see the power. I mean, the power's there. It's like big league juice. Like it's super big league juice. I just don't think he can consistently put bat on ball. Oh, Taj Bradley down in and hits this ball like out of sight. So, there's some potential there with the Blue Jays. Let's see what David Popkins and their style can do, to maybe affect this guy a little bit. Let's go look at his underlying metrics for the last few years. He did have an 83rd percentile xwOBA in 24. And you see the max EVs are up there. Hard hit was better before last year. Here we go. And honestly, it's a pretty impressive combination of swing length and bat speed. There's something with the approach angle on this swing that's messing it up, I bet. Let's see with the way that his swing plane comes through. Yeah, I just saw that, Marcus. I do think that like there's again, like because he hits the ball so hard, like there are some things in his game that people are gonna really like. He's just been awfully pitchable. Like we never had a hard time game planning for Jesus Sanchez. And I was in his division for a while. All right, so here's the metrics. 28-degree swing path tilt, which I don't mind. It's a little flatter than MLB average, but I don't technically mind that. They're probably going to want him to scoop a little more, get a little closer to league average. 2 degrees pull, that's great. He's hitting the ball to the big part of the ballpark. He's got enough power to do that. Here's the issue. The attack angle is only 7 degrees, so he's not consistently getting the ball in the air the way that he should. And if he does, he'll have a lot better success because he hits the ball so hard. Where's his pull in the air percentage? So 16.9, it's like barely above league average. I mean, I think the biggest thing for him is, trying to get the strikeouts a little bit more under control and then hitting more balls in the air, especially if he can to the pull side, but he's got enough juice to go anywhere. I think it's just like maybe the swing percentage is too much. He's a little bit above average there. Chasing just a little bit too much. Like it's close, so I see why people wanted him. And he's definitely got a big upside. He's only 28 still, but you just haven't seen it yet. He's been a little pitchable, is my point. So it's going to be intriguing how this works out. Blue Jays wanted more power potential, especially without the Santander injury. Solid numbers versus right-handed pitchers. They won't ask as much for him in terms of playing every day. So one of the things that we talked about the other day with Santander's injury was that, it would have been nice if they had a lefty who could mash behind Vlad. I mean, there was a world in which Jesus Sanchez could come into that position. He could maybe be that guy. Do I expect it? Not really. But could it happen? Yeah, I mean, he's got the physical ability to do it. So I like the fact that they made this gamble. I guess Loperfido they were kind of out on, huh? Let me go look at Loperfido. I feel like he just wasn't getting enough at-bats, really, huh? Hit a double off me a couple years ago. Yeah, only 104 plate appearances last year, 262 the year before. More of a batting average guy, defense guy, right? I think that's his profile. They don't really have too much of a use for him. Jays must be low on Loperfido even with the good limited sample in 2025. I mean, he did hit 333, 879 OPS in that 96 at-bats, but it's a pretty small sample. I was just saying yesterday that I was hoping the Loperfido would get more of a look with the Jays this season. Yeah. I mean, again, you look at the Blue Jays. I mean, I think they needed to find a little bit more power potential. I mean, they have so much contact in their lineup. A little bit more power potential in there. I mean, I'm curious how Okamoto looks. Really, I'm curious just to see how he looks when he gets around these Jays guys. Dominican guy, he'll definitely connect with Vladdy. And it looks like the Jays obviously have a lot of momentum right now, so you got to be excited if you're Jesus Sanchez. Anyway, Joey Loperfido, left fielder, back to the Astros. Where does he fit in with Houston? Well, right now they have him penciled in as starting left fielder here on Fangraphs roster resource. Pena, Alvarez, Altuve, Correa, Walker's pretty damn strong. Loperfido gets the hit right before Diaz. It's not bad. I just really haven't watched Loperfido play enough to really have a great feel for this. But Seems like a guy Houston liked when they originally signed him. Barger is violence. Compare Barger before and after to see if he can have the same success. Yeah, I mean, it's never apples to apples. I do agree. I mean, obviously they're going to have the same hitting coach now, and there will be probably some similar adjustments attempted to be made here, but every player is different. So Canadian baseball's fearing Loperfio's a 4A player. It looks like he's going to get a chance here. Would dropping his back shoulder sooner put him on his targeted swing path longer instead of the long rotation? Yeah, I mean, obviously I'm not a hitter, but the swing path is really about shoulder tilt. Like the swing path tilt is really about how flat your shoulders rotate, where you are when you rotate. The attack angle is more about where the bat is as it's coming through the baseball. I've seen guys now that are kind of like here, but they still stay flat. And I've seen guys that are the opposite of that, where they're here, but then they're somehow scoopy. Typically, you're going to be like, if you're here, you're scoopy, and if you're flat, you're more flat. But at the end of the day, nobody really wants to hit all ground balls. And if you have that much power, like Jesus Sanchez, and you're already striking out a lot, you want to make sure that the balls you are hitting in play are probably going for damage. So, I don't know. I'd have to watch it. It's just like facing him, I did feel like I could get above the bat, even with it being a little flat. And I could definitely speed him up before then slowing him down. Like, it just felt like there was always an answer for what he had. You know, obviously you can't make a mistake down and into that guy, but, you know, we'll see. Jay's front office always was out on Loperfito, but then why did they trade for him in the first place? Loperfito was caught smoking a dart during one of the Jays series win parties. Do a lot of major leaguers secretly smoke cigs? I wouldn't say a lot. Like, it's like society. Like, not a lot of people smoke cigarettes anymore, but we used to smoke rally cigarettes in the San Francisco dugout before they had the bullpen on the field, like when it was just down the line and all the relievers would hang out in the dugout. There's like a landing area down the stairs in the visiting dugout in San Francisco next to the batting cage. And there was definitely a stretch of time where the Rockies were ripping rally darts down there. So, not that I've seen a ton of it, but obviously some guys play with Cespedes or Josh Reddick or Hassan Kim, and those types of people are smoking lung darts, but you don't see it a ton anymore. Definitely some Japanese or Korean guys, though. Yeah, so the Isak Paredes thing is interesting. Also, Cam Smith. I'm not sure how much run Loperfito is really going to get. Paredes, like, I still think he might get traded. I don't know what's going to happen there, but I don't know. I don't have a whole lot of insight on Loperfito. I'd like to see him get more at-bats, and I'd like to watch it a little bit before I have any comment on it. But, you know, the Jesus Sanchez, it's just like, it's a tale as old as time. Like, it's a guy that has had plenty of opportunity to become a plus player, and he's just been kind of a one-war player. Not that it's a bad player, but there's so much more in there, and every team thinks they're going to be able to unlock it. Yeah, we watched a little Cody Ponce. He looked filthy. It looked like he had serious separation between that fastball and that split, and he was throwing hard as crap. So I can't wait to watch him. I think Mike Trout is a great example of what a nice clean swing path at the bottom of the zone, but because of that swing, you can't hit anything else up. Yeah, so Trout, if we can go do that now. We can go look at Trout. I mean, he's had kind of the same swing his whole career, and it just destroys everything except for the top rail. You know, but honestly, like, I've always kind of respected that he just didn't really care. That he was just like, okay, beat me up there. You can't do it that often. So anyway, here it is, 36-degree swing path tilt. So he's scoopier in terms of his shoulder plane as he rotates than league average, which generally leads to you dominating the bottom of the zone and usually setting yourself up to hit a fly ball. Interesting that his attack direction's it's not as much pull as I would have expected. Probably was when he was younger. Honestly, I thought the attack angle would be closer to 10. But either way, you see the idea of the swing path tilt a lot more scoopy, and he crushes the bottom of the zone. Always has. Josh Donaldson was scoopy by design, hurt him as he got older. So here's the thing about being scoopy. Like, you're going to get mistakes in the bottom half and you're going to be set up to crush them over the wall. Like, guys are really great that have scoopy swings, but it's also like with all the velocity in today's game and guys that can spin it at 19 vert at the top of the zone, like, you're not really going to hit that. You're not really going to hit that pitch. So there's levels to it. And obviously your plate discipline helps whatever swing you do have play up. But I don't know. I like guys that are a little more adjustable than being too scoopy. But again, scoopy guys hit home runs. So hope we like home runs. Studies show that they're good. Why do lefties mostly like down and in pitches? So my theory on this is like kind of funny. It's like you're batting left-handed. You know when you swing, you have to run to first base. And when you bat right-handed, you know you have to swing. You have to stop your rotation and run to first base. And not that righties don't like down and in. Some of them do. But their whole life they're facing righties. So anything down and in is usually boring in on them. And it's not really the same effect as a lefty facing a righty where that pitch is kind of just right in the meat zone, running back to their barrel if it's down and in. I also think they're naturally inclined to rotate and open up because they know they're headed that way. And I know that sounds insane, but there's something about the subconscious knowing that you're running this direction that kind of lets you open up a little earlier. And that's part of my thesis there. Brett Lowry. Donaldson talked about not being flat almost religiously. Yeah, I know. I mean, he thought it was the be-all and end-all. He just, look, he got exposed big time at the end. I mean, at the beginning, when the pitchers weren't smart, everybody that got super scoopy crushed. I mean, I played with Carlos Gonzalez, one of the best players in the league. He crushed everything down in the zone. Once the guys started throwing high, it was it. It was a wrap, and that was the same with Donaldson. So it was great for a while. I mean, won MVP on the strength of that. Is there a guy you can think of that hits the top of the zone really well? Yeah, like Altuve. Short guys in general, but Altuve for sure. Juan Soto. There's quite a few. And then back in the day, there was a lot of them because they all had kind of that short, straight to the ball swing, like Frank Thomas, like certain guys like that. So it's a little bit different. Barger and Sanchez, 75.9 bat speed, Addison 29 tilt, Sanchez 28 tilt. Barger went from 1 oppo to 5 pull. I wonder if Popkins lets Sanchez pull more. I mean, it's also it's a little bit overblown, the coaching too. I just want to say that. Like, it matters, but the players make the choices most of the time. Coaching can help, but I don't know. There's no like magic bullet with a coach. Looking at his numbers versus high hitters was always close to the best in the league. He was adjustable, to be fair, but saying he doesn't want to hit ground balls doesn't mean he was scoopy. I think Donaldson was pretty scoopy at one point. And he also used to crush high heaters, but he wasn't very tall. And when he was on time, it was one thing, but the velocity changed. Big time. How will I pitch to Judge? Well, I faced Judge quite a bit already. You just have to mix it up. He doesn't really chase. Fastballs aren't bad at times, but you got to set them up right and you got to get them in the right spot. You just can't stay in the same place too often, and you really got to get ahead. You fall behind, you're in big trouble. He's pretty good at sniffing you out. Changeup, I really like. Right on right changeup. I don't know. We'll see. I'll just go in the moment and see what it is. Yeah, Durbin was raking them high the other day. All right. 1 hour in. What else we got here? So that was the trade. I guess, all right, let's talk about Goldie for a second. Goldie re-signs with the Yankees. 1 year, $4 million. What's Goldie at in his career? 63.8 WAR. He's going to become the first player ever to wear the Stars and Stripes in WBC 3 times, which is very, very neat. He was solid last year. 731 OPS. He started off like gangbusters. He crushed lefties, I want to say. Pretty damn good, right? Last year in 2025. Platoon splits. Yeah, I mean, 981 OPS versus lefties last year. Limited plate appearances, but 336, 411, 570 for a 981 OPS. So that'll be his role. I do think most of the time Ben Rice will play first. I think Goldie will play some first. And, they are bringing the band back together. But again, this team was tied for first last year, so I don't really have a problem with that. I'm surprised he struggled this bad versus righties. 619 OPS versus righties. I also feel like there was some first half, second half stuff, right? Yeah, second half playing time kind of dwindled. 631 OPS, only 2 home runs in the second half. So let's see what Goldie's got this year. Yeah, I mean, obviously the Yankees, they needed another righty in general. They were very left-handed. But I mean, like we just showed, he banged versus lefties. So I know people didn't want to run back the same team, but I feel like it was pretty good. I don't really remember what the site was. It was fun though. Only 2 players not on the Yankees roster from last year are Weaver and Williams. Wow. Brings the VR to the park. I mean, Goldie, one of the most prepared players I've ever seen. Played with him in WBC, competed against him forever. He used to be one of the only other guys in the gym when we would go to the union meetings. He would always be there working out. I was impressed with his professionalism and all that. Obviously, he's a beast, but the guy's actually one of the most shredded jack guys I've ever seen. So it's pretty sick. Anyway, this is the Yankees. They're running it back. We're going to see how it goes. I'm pretty high on it still, but Trent Grisham, I guess, would be my one question mark. I'm very curious to see what he can do this year, whether he can duplicate or even come close to what he did before. So I might be in the minority, but I really like the Ryan Weathers signing. And I also think Luis Heel is going to be a little bit of a different pitcher this year. I'm actually okay with what they have. I saw Schlitt. Schlittler's got a little back inflammation right now, so who knows where he's at. But, I mean, of course, they could use even more depth and more high end. Of course, every team could, but I don't have a big problem with where they're at pitching-wise. I like Weathers. I think Heel will bounce back. I told you Will Warren got a lot of good experience last year as well, so you got to expect more at all 3 of those guys, really. Grisham and Jazz are unlikely to do it again. See, I think Jazz, this is going to be such an interesting year to watch Jazz. It's just like, does he go to another level this year because this is the payday year? Or does he crumble? He's such an emotional player. And I love that. What's he look like? Such an odd savant page, too. I mean, he's 91st percentile in barrels. So obviously barrels are the best things you can do, but he also is only 9th percentile in squared up. So to me, he just takes gangster hacks, swings a lot. Obviously, he's got all the tools in the world, but he's going to be really fascinating if he's on this upward trajectory that I think he might be, or whether this year proves to be a little more difficult for him. But yeah, Jazz is a big one. Grisham's the other one. I mean, Grisham, simply put, Grisham had a magical season last year. I mean, 34 home runs. I mean, he hadn't even hit 200 average the previous years. He had under 300 on base the previous year, and that's a guy with elite swing decisions generally at the plate. I mean, here, 99th percentile chase last year. Holy cannoli, that's fantastic. So, like, that's his carrying skill, obviously pulling the ball in the air. I'm sure he did a great job of that. Yep, 23.5%. That's why he hit all those home runs, particularly with the short porch. But you look at Grish's overall career, like, this was a bit of an outlier. I mean, he's always been good at walking and not chasing. It's just a matter of, the barrels were better and he pulled more balls in the air, and all those things seem to matter. I don't personally think he's going to do it again, but I think he's a good player, but I think this could be one area where they're not as good, but we'll see. Really like Jazz. Think he's the second best second baseman in the game behind Marte. Him and Terang are very close. Definitely got a possibility to be that guy. I mean, 30-30 doesn't grow on trees. He's extremely athletic. He plays a really nice second. I know he's a divisive player personality-wise, but he's got all the talent in the world. All the talent in the world. Adam, do you think the Braves should have tried to keep Ozuna? I think they will miss him at the plate and in the clubhouse. All right, we'll answer this in 1 second. If he was healthy, he would have been almost 40-40 on a per game basis. I think Jazz goes down, but if he plays 150, I'll have similar numbers. Obviously got to stay on the field. Grisham, big pull guy, but the biggest this past year, and that really helped him. Helps to play in a Little League park. Sorry about it. Take advantage of your dimensions. Running it back discourse around the Yankees is frustrating when people overvalue postseason performance. Well, I'm just saying, running it back, they won 94 games, so that's pretty good. I know they got exposed by the Jays. There's no guarantee they'll face that same scenario this year. And things always change. Nothing we think right now. I mean, we'll have 58 different opinions by the time we get to September. So they have a great roster. They do. They do. I love that Garrett's coming back this year. I think they're gonna. I still think they're good. Does Rice sit versus lefties? I'd say ideally no, but as of right now, with the roster that they have, I mean, look, the analytics are going to be saying, let Goldie hit, let Goldie hit, let Goldie hit. So we'll see. So we'll have to see. Do I think Wells can do good things this year? Yeah, I'm a Wellsy fan. He does some things really well. Obviously, you know, it's tough to try to be an offensive player at this position. There's so much on your plate behind the dish. I mean, look at his framing numbers last year. Fantastic. He's got to handle all of these pitchers. But you know, he hit 21 bombs last year. He's another guy who knows how to hook the ball at Yankee Stadium. There are some abilities there. He's got above average bat speed. His chase isn't totally bottom of the barrel, 41st percentile, but nothing. It's not scary low. I think there's more in here. But you never know with a catcher. You know, it's really a big ask. The year before, his expected numbers were a lot better. Much more walks. I think that was the biggest thing in the chase. So will he control the zone? It seems like that's the thing that can turn his chances around the best. But, you know, I'm a fan of Wellesley. I think that the pitchers like to throw to him, which is kind of a big deal. And Norm, I feel like you and others keep saying this, and it's not true. Framing's still going to matter. There's not going to be that many challenges. So it's normal baseball with a couple challenges a day. So I still think the framing will matter. I mean, I guess a little bit less, but I disagree overall. Grisham has had 2 years, 20-ish above his career average OPS, and 2 years, 20-ish below his career average. Just how it works. Yeah, not great though. You don't like that much of. You like guys to be a little bit more consistent than that, right? Sonny Gray versus Yankees will be cinema. All it always is. Red Sox, Yankees. We got a little more discourse. You got to love it. Yankees look really strong everywhere except third base. Yeah, I mean, like, I'm a McMahon fan, but just not really offensively anymore. But defensively, I mean, he's fantastic. So let me look up Ryan real quick. And really, like, what was the knock on the Yankees the previous years was just like the defense in the infield. So I think, you know, look, I mean, he's a weird player. He's got way too much swing and miss. This is a perfect example of a guy who can't hit the top of the zone heater, really. But he's got donkey power, plays great defense, and we'll see. We'll see how it goes. So I don't think they're horrible at third base. I just think they traded a little bit of, you know, maybe offensive potential for, well, really they had nothing going at all. But in general, you'd be saying, okay, they could sign an offensive player, and so they have a defensive player. So it's pretty cool. I kind of like it when you're on the mound. The alarm, I mean, it's just like, oh, I'm going to finish this guy. I don't know. As a player, you kind of like the sound effects for the most part, unless they're corny. You know, maybe that one's a little corny, but I like it. All right, what else you got? Did I see what Sale said about not challenging? Yeah, but that tracks with Chris. Doesn't call pitches. He's like, you put a finger down or you say a little word in my pitch comm, I throw it. That's it. Whatever happens, happens. It's just not his thing, you know? Yeah, Volpe. I mean, Volpe is a big deal. I mean, he's such an important player this season for the Yankees. I don't think he's even necessarily guaranteed any type of starting. You got Caballero around. Eventually, you're going to have Lombard coming. You know, you just can't put up mid 600 OPSs forever. And last year, obviously, the defense fell apart. He had won the Gold Glove as a rookie, so very curious to watch Volpe. I know he's been working hard in silence, and we'll just have to see how that plays out. He's a big deal for sure. McMahon hit 203 on high pitches in the zone. Did you feel any extra juice the first time or any time you played in the Boston, New York games? Yeah, probably a little more nervous. Probably a little more juice. I remember I actually came in like with a 1-run lead. My first ever Yankees Red Sox game was at Yankee Stadium, and I remember I got the middle of the order. It was like Xander, Mookie, maybe Rafi, something like that. And I had a good inning. I think I went 1, 2, 3. I think I struck out Mookie looking on a ball, and I felt good about it. But yeah, a little more juice for sure. I loved being in those games though. I mean, anytime you get more juice, automatically it's awesome. No, I would use it. I would use it. I mean, not all the time, but like when you feel like you're 100% right, you got to really feel like you got it right. You know, that's the thing. You've been calling for this for a while, Uncle Ted. Sell the farm for Perdomo. I wonder what the value out there is for Dominguez or a Jones. I don't know what the Yankees have to really offer, and I don't think they're going to trade like Lagrange or obviously Lombard. So we'll see. Cash said Dominguez may start the year in AAA. I mean, it's kind of like that. It's kind of like that. Am I thinking Nike, Adidas, or New Balance for the WBC? So I have some white Nike cleats in a bag downstairs. That's what I'm probably going to wear if I make it that far. So just whatever I got. Oh, is this the okay Blue Jays? Let's play ball. I mean, that's cheesy, but I still end up singing it every time I'm there. So got no problem with that. What do I think of Ben Rice as a player overall? I love Ben Rice. I think it's just a matter of time until the offensive onslaught is coming. I mean, look at this Savant page. This type of shit does not lie, folks. It doesn't lie. I know he only hit 255 with an 836 OPS last year, but this screams 900 OPS. It just does. Don't think he's a great catcher. Don't think he's a great first baseman, but I think he's going to mash, and I think he's a perfect fit at Yankee Stadium, and I think he's a perfect fit in this lineup. And honestly, I'd like to see him hit behind Judge if he can manage it, because this is like legit shit. This is a crazy Savant page. I'd be parading this around the clubhouse if I had this Savant page. So I like him. My song was Alive by Kid Cudi. Alive by Kid Cudi. You might have heard it from Jeff Hoffman, who stole it. Freaking loser. Just kidding, Jeff. Oh, man. All right, what else we got? Shouldn't your catcher just know if it's a strike? So I kind of debunk this a little bit, because a lot of times catchers, most of the time they know the zone, but a lot of times they are so busy trying to frame and they're so locked in on catching the ball or whatever else they have on their mind that they don't really know where the pitch was. So they're not always 100% reliable. I mean, I can't tell you how many times I've come off the field and I've had the catcher tell me, Papa, you got squeezed. That was a strike. And then I go look at the iPad and it's a ball. Or the other way around where I'm like, I swear that was a strike. And he's like, no. And then I was right. So, I mean, it just depends. I mean, it depends on who the player is. Some players really know that stuff and some players don't. I don't think it's a positional thing as much. No idea about this. Joey Gallo, zero clue. I wish I knew, but I don't have the slightest idea about that. I'd trade everyone for Perdomo. Yeah, but who is everyone? You would trade obviously the other Yankees top guys? Who are the other Yankees top guys? Dun, dun, dun. Lombard, Lagrange, Elmer, Jones, Cunningham, Hess. So some pitchers. I like Dax Kilby a lot. He's got a nice looking swing. I don't know who I guess Lagrange and Lombard could get you something, but hard to give up on a guy pumping like 103. I mean, sitting 98 with a 102 top and a 60 grade slider, 70 grade heater. I mean, I don't know. I wouldn't want to give up on that. That would look good on my team. I don't see Jones being valuable. Okay, Blue Jays. Everybody knows this song. I know all the theme songs. I've been to every ballpark in MLB many times. Listen, the Cubs, hey Chicago, what do you say? Cubs are going to win today song. Also, corny, but also amazing. No better feeling. I mean, I shouldn't say better feeling because every time you hear it, you're fucking losing and you're walking off the field. But when you hear it, you're kind of like, this is a vibe. I'm not going to lie. It's kind of a vibe. You were scoreless versus Boston your first 9 outings. All right, there you go. See, I liked it. Ernesto Martinez Jr. is better than Rice. Watch. Okay. Well, I don't know where he is, but we'll take your word for it, and then we'll see it when it happens. Me too. I think he'll be all right. He'll be all right. He'll be fine. Hoffy will be fine. Yeah, I just talked about this now. I'm just saying it's very Sale. This is very Chris Sale to just say fuck F it. Call the pitches, I throw them. Don't want to know anything else. I love it. He is himself, and it works. He's got Cy Youngs and probably Hall of Fame potential. So I like what he does for him. Aaron Judge for Perdomo straight up. That's funny. I think somebody came out to this once, Carl. Closing time. I think somebody came out to this once. All-time favorite teammate? I mean, that's not fair to a lot of my teammates. But, I mean, I spent the longest with DJ LeMahieu when we are very close, 9 years, so I'll give him the nod, but a lot of great teammates. Lagrange out of the pen for the Yankees would be such a weapon. Well, let's see how they develop him. I'm very curious to see. All right. Which closer has the best entrance right now? I mean, obviously, I'm always partial to the Trumpets and Edwin. He's just such a boss. The Duran one is sick. Trying to think what else I'm missing. I don't know. All-time Mariano, though. What kind of pitches do you prefer versus lefties? What do you think is more successful, curves or sliders versus lefties? Curves, definitely curves. Gyro sliders can work really good for whiff, but sliders are pretty bad versus lefties for contact. Curves. I like curves to lefties. Of the breaking balls, I would like a curve. Not that I had a good one because my arm slot was too low. Baseball Prospectus has Dax Kilby at 41 in their top 100. I like Dax's swing a lot, so just from doing some internet scouting, I'm high on him, but I'm a little biased with Yankee stuff probably. Yeah, I mean, not to say that not to say that some catchers aren't great at this. I just think it depends. It depends. Probably Nolan Arenado, actually. He can make me laugh with just a look. He always knew what I was thinking, so it'd be funny. Wow, Familia, Danza Kuduro. That's a good one. Hell's Bells. Kind of overrated because it's not, Hoffman anymore. Trevor Hoffman. Toughest hitter that you faced that wasn't like elite, but you couldn't get out. Yeah, probably. I mean, I've said it a lot, but Brandon Belt owned me really bad. I don't know. There's probably some bad hitter out there that's like 3 for 3. I'm not really sure. I think he'll have 3 fun years in LA, win a lot of games. He'll be fine. I think one knee down in general is better, but I think with guy on third, there's times where you have to abandon it. Just get ready to block. If you can't block, it's good from one knee down. But I know catchers will debate that, so I usually let them do what they do. I just want guys to care about it as much as me. Papelbon shipping off to Boston. The Koji Uehara Sandstorm intro was legit. Jukebox Hero. I mean, we used to blast this in my car. Thanks, Mitch, for bringing this up on the way to the starts in Northeastern. It was always fun. What Met had your number? Looking at the roster, I don't. This is gonna be funny. Let's see. We'll just do this real quick, and I'll get to some other news. I'm just really been hitting the chat. All right, so here's my career versus these players, just off the top of my head. Lindor, I've only faced like a couple times. I think there's a walk and like a ground out in there. He probably has decent numbers. Soto, I've literally only faced in the postseason, and I think I walked him. Bichette, I dominate. Polanco, feel like he's done okay. Maybe 1 for 3, 1 for 4. Semien, I dominate. Beatty, I've never faced. Alvey, I've never faced. Robert, I dominate, even though it's short amount of games. Benj, never faced. Terens, don't know. Vientos, never faced. Mauricio, never faced. Tyrone, I might have faced. Don't really know. So not really much. Not really much. Not really a lot of overlap there. Definitely faced Bichette a lot though. Speaking of Belt, the guy retired after putting up a 137 RC plus. I mean, not like he was kind of elite. I don't know why, but he just sticks in my head as somebody who I couldn't get out. I couldn't get him out. I mean, he was really good. What is my preferred method of making coffee? I have an espresso machine. I'm a big espresso guy. I like espresso over ice or like iced Americanos. That's kind of my thing. Black. Different types of beans. Try them all out. Eric Gagne, welcome to the jungle. He also had Game Over at one point. There was a Jonathan Broxton Iron Man. I mean, there's been a lot of really great ones over the years. Yep, Gallen's back in Arizona. Current Mets, 1 for 24 against me. Told ya it was pretty good. Did you have a batter that you just didn't like and he maybe threw with a little attitude when he was up there? Sure. I'm trying to think who. I mean, at one point it was Justin Turner, and I don't really have a reason. I was just like, this guy's all over the fucking plate, and it's annoying, and I don't like it. And I just decided not to like him, even though I had no reason. I think he's probably a great guy. I was like, I don't like his beard, I don't like his face, I don't like the Dodgers. They beat my ass all the time. So he was probably one of the guys. Rhys Hoskins, you know, we had a thing with him. I was kind of like, I need to get this guy out. But I mean, none of it was ever really real. It was all just created. Sometimes you got to create psycho shit in your head to compete. That's just reality. Kenley, California Love was always good. Yeah, see, Belt, 5 for 10, 2 walks. Brutal. I got crushed. Do you see any similarities between Ranger Suarez and Dallas Keuchel? Yes, I do, but I think I do a little bit. But I think Suarez, I don't know. I'm more confident in Suarez. Obviously, I guess we know how Keuchel worked out. That's a great comp, though. That's a tough question. Turner is 2 for 13 versus me. Yes, suck it, Red. Have you ever been on a team where somebody got a PED suspension? No, not actively at the moment. Nobody's suspended right then, but I play with guys that had been suspended. It doesn't really change much. You'd be surprised. You just got to do it. You know, you just got to do it. If you were pitching to a guy who's about to break the all-time home run record, you're throwing him a meatball? No, and I'm trying to get him out, and if he gets me, he gets me. Here's one. Starlin Castro, 7 for 12 off me. And he's a righty. Couldn't freaking get him out. So I learned this too late, that he couldn't hit the high heater. He just couldn't, and I learned it too late. So Northeastern loses 10-0 on the opener. It's all right. We'll dust it off. Next game, I believe, is at the Cubs facility. So, when the runner had a great jump on you, did you ever think about hitting a batter at the plate? No, but everybody had a good jump off me, if you recall. All right. What else happened? Some more stuff happened. Top prospect Sebastian Walcott, man down, elbow surgery. That's with the Rangers. That kind of sucks. Got a couple small things here. Muncy got an extension. This was an interesting one to me. We'll talk about this for a second. So how old is Max now? He's playing his age 35 season now. What was his contract that they just extended? This would have been the last year. Or it's not official yet, or something? What is this? I don't know. I saw that people were like, oh, it's not a huge amount of money, and they're giving me all this credit for being loyal. But, like, I also feel like he's at the stage now where, like, pretty soon in the free agent market, he's going to not be worth a lot because he's going to have terrible defense. He's going to have to keep mashing, And, he does mash. Muncy's a very good hitter. I hated facing him. But, does he mash like the guy that they're going to believe that's going to mash forever? I don't know. 846 OPS last year, 852 the year before. I mean, he is great. He's really freaking good. But yeah, physical characteristics, I do think, like, you see the way some of these guys get valued on the market. I don't know. And ultimately, he's happy with the Dodgers. And, like, they win there. And, like, this was, like, the greatest thing that ever happened to him in his life was going to the Dodgers. So it makes sense he would want to stay, even if you're giving up some potential earnings. Yeah, I mean, the fielding, pretty soon he's a full-time DH. 10th percentile, that's above average. But, I mean, obviously he rakes. It makes sense. I mean, stick with the team. Why would you want to leave the Dodgers if you've been there for so long? This is like a legacy thing. You're going to be doing card signings for the rest of your life. Dynasty. Max Muncy's going to be a household name being on the Dodgers forever. He's going to be royalty forever being on the Dodgers. So, makes sense. Stick it out. He's about to get his 10 years right off into the sunset with the team you want to be on. So, it makes sense. Muncy was like a $10 million option for 26 before. It's like, okay. I know he can't DH, but I'm saying if he was going to be a free agent, teams would want him to DH. And that's the thing. DH brings down your value if you're not banging. So, we'll see. I think it just made sense. It's kind of a no-brainer. I'll tell you this, AO. I think it's Bill Cohen's last year at NU for hoops. He's been there a long time. Well, we got some new information here. Puig, 6 for 11. Everett Cabrera, 4 for 5. There you go. Very few players can hit high heat. Why don't pitchers throw it more? Well, they do. They throw it way more than they used to. Actually, though, players have started to adjust better to high heat over the years. So, strike zone. Should we play some of this in a little while? Would it be a crazy college year for someone to remove Rock from being projected 1 WAR as a talent too hard to pass up? I don't know enough about the other guys. I just know that everybody that watches Rock Chalowski play regularly is pretty locked in on that. Hi.
Tonight, Dad.
What?
Good night.
Oh, good night. I love you guys.
Night.
Love you. How was it?
Good.
Okay, I'll be up soon. It's about Muncy. Yeah, these are the most two guys I ever faced, Goldie and Posey. Muncy would be in the same situation as Gino Suarez. That's my point. It's kind of my point. And Gino hit 49 home runs this year. So that's a pretty high bar to clear. Yeah, they do, but it's not as big. Hi. Do you want to say hi or something? How was the movie?
Jump scare.
How was the movie?
Jump scare.
Is that from the movie?
No, so yeah. Jump scare.
Okay, go to bed. Good night.
Good night. Jump scare.
Love you. People were saying the same thing about Dylan Cruz in 2023. Yeah. Paul Skeens just kind of... First of all, Paul Skeens is perfect for the Pirates. It was a marriage. And I think he just earned it. I think Dylan Cruz he still went obviously super high. So we'll see. Yeah, hit the like on those jump scares. Dodgers sign players with a weighted WRC plus for 10 million. Great business. Dodgers are in a good spot. People want to be there. It's always nice to be somewhere you want to be. Love you, Brady. Love you. Teams can also play games with slot money. I mean, there's a lot of factors at the tippy top of drafts. We know that from having gone through it and watching a million drafts over the years. Okay, so what else happened? So we just talked a little Max and Muncy for a second. We have Hamate Gate going on everywhere. Brewers bring back El Gary Sanchez. Actually, one of my favorite catchers to pitch to. I will not tolerate any Gary Sanchez catching slander. He's a very creative guy behind the plate. He caught Blake Snell in a Cy Young season. He gets a bad rap. I know he has some pass balls every now and then. But I like Gary. I just wish he stopped leg kicking at the plate. When he used to just toe tap, with 2 strikes. That first year he came up in 17, he was incredible. He hit the ball almost as hard as Judge. Things have obviously shifted since then. But I like Gary a lot. And he's been there before. Love you.
Good night.
I'm gonna come up soon.
Okay.
All right. He's not even old yet. He's got a ton of experience, and he's been with the Brewers before. So he's back with a team that knows him. He'll back up Contreras, and we'll keep it moving. What did Gary do last year? I just feel like he hasn't gotten as many ABs as he used to. Yeah, the Orioles last year. I actually put him on the IL one time with a fractured hand or something, and I felt awful about that too because we were teammates with the Yankees. I don't know. Did I? I don't know how I did that. All right, yeah. I mean, only 101 plate appearances last year, so I guess he was hurt or didn't play a lot. But he's a backup catcher at this point. He's got power. Still a tough guy to face, I'd say, at times. I mean, average exit velocity in a limited sample, 93.3 with a big barrel percentage. He still has a cannon behind the plate. He's just a unique player. Probably didn't become the super duper star that we all expected. But even with the physical decline, like the max EV is still all red for his whole career. Comes down to chasing. I do think the leg kick kind of jammed him up at the beginning. And he's got a good arm, so it helps a little bit with the throwing game, which is a big thing these days. Oh yeah, Milwaukee also added in Rengifo. That's right. So this was the other move that the Brew Crew made. Interesting. You see how a lot of these teams, these non-big teams like revenue teams, they make a lot of moves right here at the end. When they're bottom feeding. So here's Rengifo, who actually was really good with the Angels, I thought, in 23, and in 24 he got hurt, but he was similar OPS, like above league average OPS. And then last year he was bad again. 622 OPS, 287 on base. Really, really poor. So Brewers are going to give him a shot. I don't think he's just going to be playing all the time. Let me go back to that Brewer lineup. They actually have him in here as third baseman. Yeah, I mean, I guess he's a better hitter than David Hamilton, but I mean, there's probably I thought Jet Williams was maybe going to make this squad. That could happen. So Jet Williams could eventually move Joey Ortiz to third. We'll see where Rengifo fits in. It is nice that there's a switch hitter. Feels like a savvy little Brewers pickup, and he'll probably in some limited time play pretty well. He's only 29 years old, should be in his prime, but yeah, I mean. Just the Brewers, the Brewers do what they do. It's just more Brewers moves. Nothing really crazy to see. Do players get media training when? Yes, typically there's always a media training session in every spring training. Oftentimes when players are signed, initially they'll get called into a camp where they'll do media training. Also, if you go to the rookie development camp in the off season, which you get invited to, media training. So there's several opportunities to get media training, as well as some agencies will do it for their players as well. So it's all important. I think a little bit. I think I faced Joey a little bit. Not a ton, but I definitely remember striking him out, looking one time in Texas. Not a sinker. I think I also walked him quite a bit. I did not talk about John Means to the Royals, so we'll see. I have not watched this yet. What do you think hurt more, by Tyro getting hit in the hand by me or getting shot? I don't know. Probably getting shot. Why are the Brewers obsessed with short players? I think it's more coincidental. Short players are tough to pitch to, though, I will say. Given I was in the pre-DHNL, how was it being as a pitcher trying to bat? Not great. It was hard. It was really hard to hit. Obviously. I think a lot of people realize that. But it's just like I kind of stopped practicing hitting, like in high school. And then next thing you know, you're facing like major league pitchers. And it's like a whole issue. So it's like Yeah, it's just funny to me. Let's see here. Season Statcast era. I'll try to pull up my hits. There's not a lot of them. So. Oh yeah, season Statcast era. That should work. Oh wait, I think I might have even had them even before that. I don't think I got any hits from 2015 on. So I think it's either 2012 or 2013. Yeah. Okay. Well, here are my two hits. Here's the first hit. Left-handed on a changeup off Kyle Loesch. Little broken bat. Skip Schumacher dives. Probably could have made the play. One of my best friends comes in to pick up the ball, and he can't believe that I got a hit. Then I go talk to one of my other best friends, Alan Craig, who was playing first base. So that was weird. And then here's my other hit. It's right-handed. I'm hitting right-handed in this one versus Zach Duke. So really, I couldn't deal with any velocity, if you want to know the truth of it. Got Helton and Nolan. Here's Ottavino right-handed. I felt like this could have been a double, but they were playing. Jay Bruce was playing me in and over to the line. And so instead, I only got a single. Noted that both hits I got were not above 90 miles an hour, so not a very good hitter. You can see a lot of my strikeouts in some of the pitchers that I faced. Tim Lincecum strikeout. Let's watch that. This is going to be fun. Big time Timmy Jim. Locked me up with a curveball at Coors. Who else? We have Kershaw in here somewhere, pretty sure. There's got to be some good ones in here. Capuano, Nolasco, McHugh. Wow, McHugh. He was just on the show the other day. He did strike me out. This was in his debut. 0-0 in the 6th. I couldn't believe I missed that pitch. I thought I was going to hammer that. What else? Let me see a hit a ball in the let me see a hit a ball in play. Oh, a little weak chopper. Did I ever hit a ball hard? I think I did. Hold on. I'm sorry, guys. Now I'm curious. Ooh, error? See, this time I was hitting left on left. I didn't like to hit right often. Oh, another horrible jammer, and then Joe Savory. Bad throw. Renee Latchman, get your ass in the coaching box. Did you see that that's a rule now? You're not going to be able to be this far away from the coaching box anymore. So, all right, I'll stop. We'll stop with my own nonsense. We don't need to watch this. That swing was Olerud-esque. Thanks, guys. Thanks, guys. I'm going to go to bed soon. It's fine. They get it. Former Cape Cod League teammate Tim Lincecum. That's right. I am huge. I'm sneaky huge, as Aaron Boone once told me. You know, you're sneaky huge. It's like, yeah. You know. Ooh, I did see this. I wish I could pull this up. Man, where was that? This was interesting. Thanks for this comment. MLB umpire heat maps. It was from this whole thing came out today. Yeah. All right, here, you're going to watch this. It's going to go from wider to more narrow, I'm pretty sure, up top. This is fascinating shit, boys. Well, not boys, people. So they got better at the corners as Questek came in. Lefty's still getting screwed off the end. But you see that the top of the zone became a thing. When I first got to the big leagues, it wasn't a thing. And then it became a thing. I mean, look at that. We'll watch it again. It used to be, it was east-west was in, and there really wasn't much else at the top. There was no top of the zone, and then now look at it. It's a lot more of the box, a lot more of the rectangle. So this is fascinating. Nah, no at-bats first DeGrom. Harwich Mariners legends, me and Timmy, that's right. We played together. Good buddy. Adam versus Gallo, 5 plate appearances, 2 walks, 1 hit by pitch, 2 Ks. That's about right. I did not see that. This is interesting. Any Dan Heron at-bat videos? I mean, I think so. I think there's still... Did I delete that already? I'll just do it again. I'll just do it again. Hardest hit balls. Get rid of the null metrics. Batter. Ottavino. Seasons. 2012, 2013, 2014, 2010. I got some at-bats in 2010. Let's not forget about that. All right, now we're back. All right, so what was it again? What did somebody want? Dan Heron. Yeah, I definitely faced him in 2010. Yeah, here's Dan Heron's strikeout. This is my last career start. Oh my God, video unavailable. You got to be kidding me. What a letdown. Wow, look, Chad Qualls, who was a teammate later. Video unavailable. We went too far back in time, guys. These were my first ever at-bats. See if these will pop up. Nope, unavailable. What a sham. What a sham. This guy was scary. Jonathan Broxton. Look at the size of this man beef on the mound. Doors. Man, what a bad swing. What a bad swing. Reminds me of that I'm bad at golf. Ooh, Adam Warren. I thought I hit this ball relatively hard. This was versus the Yankees. No, I got jammed. What am I talking about? And who the hell is playing shortstop for the Yankees? Jason Nix? I don't know who that is. All right, whatever. We'll keep going. Did I notice the Coors effect when I was at the plate? I was just trying to survive. Just trying to survive. Overall, called zone has gotten bigger since Questec. Underrated source of strikeouts going up and offense going down. I also think that I really think the top of the zone limit is a big deal. Like if those pitches aren't called that are at the top rail, it's a lot easier to hit. And the fastball extra velocity and vert action and sticky stuff that came in at times wouldn't have had the same effect if those are balls and guys don't have to swing at that. And I think a lot of that's that catchers now set up and then they pancake down when they're trying to frame the top. So interesting stuff to look at. Agreed. Gyro, welcome back. Hope you're good. Hope you guys are. Thanks for watching tonight. Having fun hanging out for a little bit longer. I should probably get some rest. Let's see here. They didn't call high strike because umpire's gear was too soft to protect from the high heat. Who do I think the Red Sox starting pitching depth will move to the pen? I don't think they're going to move anybody to the pen yet. They'll just like send some guys down. As hardcore as that is, or they'll slow play a guy or two, but like this will usually work itself out. Crochet, Suarez, Sonny, Bayo, Oviedo. I mean, that looks like the group. Obviously, I know that there's Cutter, Crawford, and Sandoval that could be healthy. And then, I mean, I really like Early a lot. Oviedo is an interesting one that could easily get moved to the pen. But I don't know. I don't know what they're going to do. It's crazy. They've been trading away depth, and yet they still have more. No, it definitely existed. It was just like the teams have it. A lot of the league doesn't really have the database like some of the teams have. I'm telling you, feelings got hurt in this situation, Maya. I don't know the ins and outs of it, but something happened here that was bizarre. Something bizarre happened here. This is the only move this offseason with the Mets where I was like, this one is bizarre. The Diaz move. You're in the club of pitchers who started their MLB careers with a strikeout. Yes, Kosuke Fukudome, baby, on a splitter, high splitter. Super weird. Super weird. What winter? Thanks, Mitch. I like this question. What Winter Olympics event would I choose to be in? So it's like there's some sports that I watch on the Winter Olympics that I think are awesome, like the biathlon, like all the cross country skiing with the shooting. But I'm not an endurance guy, so endurance is out. Downhill skiing is something I'd like to say, but 80 miles an hour on a slope, I'm out. I'm not breaking my leg and shattering it into pieces. So hockey, grew up playing hockey, but that seems like a lame answer. Curling, I don't know if I have the touch for that. What else is there? Figure skating, that's not me. We're running out of ideas. Maybe moguls? I'm going to say moguls. When do I report to WBC? So if all goes well, in about 10, 11 days, I will go to Florida for a few days, throw a couple times there, and then go to Arizona from there. Technically, you have to report March 1st, but I need to like make sure I'm right for this club or not. So we'll know more in the next 10 days. Things are getting better, but we're not out of the woods yet. Ooh, bobsled. I'm not fast enough. Actually, Steve Langton, who we went to college with at Northeastern, was on the bobsled team a couple years ago. So we're gonna take a little detour to tell you about my buddy from Northeastern back in the day who became a bobsled guy. He ran track at Northeastern. And yeah, you want to see shredded? We're gonna show you shredded. How do I get this picture? This guy is absolutely yoked. Here's one with his bobsled. Look at this guy. Are you kidding me? Are you joking? Most jacked guy I've ever seen without steroids. But anyway, he was on the bobsled team a couple years ago. I don't think he ever got on the main bobsled. You know, they usually have a sled 1, sled 2. This was him at the 2014 Olympics. Little shout out to my guy Steve, Big Steve, age 42 from the pride of Malden, Mass. I know Mitch is in the chat here somewhere. Big Steve, he knows what's up. Yeah, Steve, Big Steve, bobsled, baby. Bobsledding. Big Steve, freaking stud. Yeah. Luge, I'll see your luge and I'll raise you skeleton. I'll go down head first. That would be fun. U.S. women's hockey stays winning. I know, I've seen a lot of these comments on the Zach Veen putting on 40 pounds. I don't know. We'll see. We don't play in Italy. We play in Houston. But yeah, we'll be streaming. I actually have some fire WBC backgrounds. If you want me to give you a little taste real quick of what I'm talking about, let me do that for a second. See if you'll enjoy this. We're gonna take a little moment here to show you something, a little sneak peek. Ooh, look at that WBC action. Look at that. Yeah. We're gonna be sneak peeking it. We also have this one coming in hot. Ooh, baseball and coffee spring training. That's right. Got some fun little teasers today. All right, where's my baseball after dark? Here it is. Bam. All right, baseball after dark, the OG one that we're using. I'll also show you something else when we're doing our guests. This is my guest page. This one is sick. You're gonna like this one a lot. This one is for WBC, and this one might be the coolest thing that they've made. Big shout out to MLB for hooking this up. You ready for this one? Bam, all the flags. Look at that, absolute heat. So, I'll go ahead and switch it back now, but you know what? We'll just go ahead and wait. No, we'll just switch it right back to. We'll just go to the spring training one for now, even though we're not on that tonight. We'll go back to that. All right, let me go back down here real quick. Steve was on the 2-man with Steve Holcomb, but not on the 4-man Night Train that won gold. Struck out Max Fried on 3 pitches. Interesting. I think he won a bronze. I think I saw something about Alvey losing 10 pounds. Will that hurt his power? Very hard to tell. I don't think it'll hurt his power enough to like where he suddenly like can't hit home runs or whatever. Because he's strong as crap. But I mean, maybe if he's carrying a little extra weight, it'll help him rotate a little better, stay a little more healthy, be a little more efficient. So, no comment on that. I don't know. Mass does equal gas for some guys. I think we're learning. I think we're learning a lot more about that recently. That there's more than one way to produce a lot of force. You can be a fast guy, you can be a strong guy, you can be a combination of both. So we'll see. Is Italy playing in any MLB team spring games? Yes, 2 games. I believe one is against the Cubs and one's against... I don't know. Somebody's going to have to tell me. Not sure. If your team gets a best shape of his life spring training story, your team's probably not a contender. Yeah, my guy, Rob Bradford with Baseball Isn't Boring is big on he thinks it's hilarious, the best shape of your life. So... I think it's funny too, but, you know. Hey, relax, Vic. Or who is this, Vic? It's got to be Vic. Relax, but you're right, I'm not designing these. You know what, though? I do have Canva going. I'm designing some other things. I'm doing what I can, but I am not the graphic designer. Ooh, Jay thinks I should do long track speed skating. That makes sense. Actually, I was a damn good ice skater when I was younger in hockey. Like, I was fast. So, did I speak to Kyle Till yet? No. I'll just tell him, set up down the middle. I'll tell you what's coming. We'll do the best. Oh, Philip showed up. What up, Phil? Yeah, we talked about him for a second, but anyway, wanted to say hi. Sometimes you lose weight. Sometimes you don't. Cubs on the 3rd, Angels on the 4th. Okay, so we'd be in Tempe on the 4th. Okay. It's going to be fascinating to see how this all goes. Yeah, there's some truth to this. I mean, I do tell them exactly what I want, and then they do it. So it's like, I don't know. I have been vibe coding. I'm not as good as Robert Stock, but we're getting there. All right, let me look back at one last thing here. I don't know if you guys want to tell me about anything else that's going on. But if there's anything interesting to watch, please let me know before I say goodnight. Let's see what else is here. There was a couple of things. The Dodgers got Evan Phillips back, and then also Kike. So Phillips must be feeling like he's going to pitch this year for $6.5 million 1-year deal. I love Evan Phillips. Obviously, he's kind of like somewhat of an evolved version of me with the sweeper. Throws harder. You know, he's nasty. Very similar pitcher, I would say, to me, but you know, certainly at a higher high, I would say at times. I mean, a .83 whip is a joke. And he won World Series. Plus, I like that he's UNC Wilmington, old CAA guy. Colonial Athletic Association. So big fan of him, and hopefully he can get healthy and get back in there. I mean, he only pitched 7 games last year, so they're paying him 6.5. They must think he's moving along pretty dang well. And then obviously we all know about my good buddy Kike that's now back with the Dodgers too. And you know what's great about this? They have nowhere to play him right now, and they don't care. All they care about is that he comes back at the end of the year and he can help them in the postseason. They literally have nowhere to play him right now. There's nowhere. But he's not healthy for a while anywhere, and I think it's great that they know that this will work out and that he's exactly where he should be, and he does belong with the Dodgers. So those were interesting 2 moves, getting Kike back and then Evan Phillips, who is not going to be probably healthy game 1, but he'll factor in, and they'll have the same old crew plus Sugar, which is nasty, super nasty. All right, my best friend Jared just sent me a text. Why TMNT2 banned the Ninja Turtles weapons? He's sending me a YouTube short.
But I'll bet I never last to look for a can opener. 1990s Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles movie is low-key one of the best comic movies going. And
I'll watch this later. We were big Ninja Turtle people when we were younger, especially the video game Turtles in Time. All right, what else we got in here? Did I already talk about Gallen? Yeah, I feel bad for Gallen a little bit. I mean, I do think he's going to bounce back this year and it'll all work out. But I think the league messed up. I think somebody could have grabbed this guy. I know there's a QO. Who cares? Lose a second, third round or whatever. I would have done it if it were me. I'm probably the only one. Fangraphs posted their draft primer. They have Rock's comp as Dansby Swanson. So he was also the #1 overall pick. I mean, I know people are going to poo-poo that. He's a $100 million shortstop, world champion. Hell of a defender. If that's the final end result of Rock Chalowski's career, that would be still a victory, 100%. Of course, we have high hopes, even higher hopes. You're expecting him to, not expecting, but hoping for him to be like a prime Tulo with longevity. But we'll see. We'll see. That's the exciting thing. Nobody knows nothing. You got to earn it. So we'll watch it. They signed Kike so no one else would get him. I don't think anybody. Well, I think he only wanted to be with them, in my opinion. They have an awesome game released in the last year that's Turtles in Time related. Ooh, is it on the Switch? Because I'm a big Switch guy. So that might be the thing. I've been trying to get every banana and every fossil in Donkey Kong Bonanza. We're getting close. Yeah, that's what I do in my free time. I don't know what's wrong with me. We need baseball back. All right, Gallen for the Cubs would have been a nice move. I guess they didn't really bid. I also am surprised, Norm, that they didn't bid. For me, I would have went for it. I would have went for it if it were me. Yep, Tulo was amazing. White Sox can trade him for Shelby Miller. Lol. Keeks will be out for the beginning of the year anyway. Exactly, so they'll be fine. There was a question in here that was interesting. You allowed hits to 6 pitchers. Do you remember any of those at-bats? Okay, yeah, so 2 to Dan Herron. Actually don't really remember them. I remember that I walked Steven Strasburg once on 4 pitches and I wanted to literally crawl in a hole and die because he couldn't hit at all. So I don't have the answer to that. I thought I was going to know more than that. Sorry. How much do state maxes taxes matter? They all matter, absolutely. I mean, even with the Dodgers thing, you see all the signing bonus stuff when guys are from Florida or wherever, so they can get that money paid out to their state where they have no income tax, no state income tax. Like, it matters a lot. All right, we're going to wrap it up, guys. I'm tired. Are you on Yes this season? Absolutely. I will be on Yes pre and post. I'll also be doing 2 spring training games from remote in the booth. That's exciting. Hopefully, I'll get even more games. I'm waiting on some national stuff, so we'll see. It's going to be exciting. And who the hell knows? Who the hell knows what the future lies? But this show will be going, that's for sure. And that will be the fun thing. All right, I think we've done enough today. I'm going to call it. I'm tired. Thank you guys for the stream today. We covered a lot of stuff. I thought it was pretty fun. All right, here's the quick info on the game. 2 on Switch. 1 is Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles: The Cowabunga Collection, which is a better version of Turtles in Time. Love Turtles in Time. Oh, here's the other hits. Narveson, Heron twice, Para, Hamels, and Worley. That's weird. All right. Lots of fun. Love you guys. You guys are the best. I'll check you guys in the Discord, see what's popping. And we'll be back on Monday. And pretty dang soon, I think we better hit our divisional previews. Maybe I'll start that as soon as Monday. We'll just run through the divisions because before you know it, it's going to be WBC. So we're going to have to lock in on that. And then we're going to have to do, more spring training information and stuff like that. So that's probably what I'm thinking. If you have any other ideas, holler at me. I guess I'll work on guests a little bit. I really haven't been trying lately, but at some point I like to have somebody else on. Certainly in WBC, I'll try to grab some people that are performing in that, playing in that, and we'll go from there. So thanks again for everybody hanging with me on both my channel and MLB. And everybody have a great night. And I'll see you guys on Monday. Have a great weekend, everybody. Hasta. Later.